think what's interesting to put this in perspective, so when you first started with Things
Just
Don't
a
Go...
quick time out, Jordan's crying. He didn't want anyone to see.
Yeah. He's actually taking a piss.
But by the time you filmed this, you had just exploded into the stratosphere. I mean, now you are famous, you know, the new kids. How did that change the way that you approached these videos? I mean, did you feel as though you had more input, or, you know, you had to present something? Was there more pressure?
For us, I think there was just a progression when you asked the last question of like how things were changing. I think with each song, we felt not only ourselves growing and crowds getting bigger and things changing, but we could see it like physically. Like Danny would show up and go, "Please Don't Go Girl is up to number 15 on the pop charts." And then the next Tuesday he'd come out, "We're up to number 10, we're top 10. And then Right Stuff, I think, went to number 3, and Danny would always give us updates. He's still like the update guy for statistics and stuff. Yeah. He earned that 4-year scholarship to Boston University. He wasn't he did not earn it, but I'll Be Loving You went number 1, and it was like, you know, I think when we first heard that song, I'll Be Loving You, and not to backtrack, I'm gonna get to Hang Tough, but I think we knew like, this could be a number 1 song. Like, this is that kind of record you hear on the radio, like, and we thought that about the other songs too, but I think with Hangin' Tough, we definitely stepped in more in the sense that we didn't know what the next single was gonna be. And like Doug would say, the record company would say, all right, we wanna put out this song next, and we wanna put out this one, and we had kind of talked amongst ourselves and to our manager about Hangin' Tough should be the next single. And the reason was, and it wasn't a typical radio song, it was a little different, but when we did the concerts, it would be mayhem in the audience on Hangin' Tough, and it was like, that just feels like the anthem, you know, like it's the closing show rah-rah anthem. It just, the energy of the fans is so massive during it. It was like, that should be the single, that should be the single, and they listened to us, and they put it out, and of course now we're putting ourselves into the boardroom now, right, and trying to make these decisions, and if it goes wrong, you know, there are already people saying your career is gonna last about 15 minutes, guys, prepare for it. So if we now started making decisions that would expedite that process, it would be a big problem. But we were in a limousine, not video related story, but I remember, if you guys remember, we were in a limousine in LA, and it was a top 5 countdown show on Kiss FM in LA, and it was like the top 5 at 5, and we were all in the back of the limo, and we had no idea this was gonna happen. We weren't even really listening to the radio, it was just on. And they said, and coming in, number 1 on the top 5 at 5, Hangin' Tough, do-do-do-do, and we went crazy. We were in the back of the limo, jumping up and down, hugging each other, and it was one radio station in the country, but to us, I think it symbolized like we made the right choice. And it was like, we know, we spoke up, we put our voices out there, we stood up to the record company and said, this is what we think should happen next, and they listened, and that was the first sign that it worked, and it was really a great feeling, that moment. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the joy we shared. It was one of those just moments of pure joy at a time that things were becoming very chaotic in our lives.
So this video was filmed in LA at a theater that was abandoned, right? It was an old porn theater, is that what?
Another hellhole number 3.
There was a theater called the Mayan Theater, which is now a venue in LA, but back then it was just abandoned. It was an old porno theater. So what we had to do...
Let's get the new kids and their teenage fans down to that porno theater.
But what we had to do for that, at that point, the record, we were doing a number of things. We were doing a live concert video. So the record company said, we want to have a live concert video, then we want you to make this last video and put some documentary together, and we're going to release that as a a standalone thing, like 4 videos with documentary. So I spent time in Vegas shooting them. They were on tour, and then we went to that theater and built a set. And we sent in a whole cleaning crew for like 2 days.
Oh, thank goodness.
Mop the floor. They
Acid,
did-
bleach, all this.
Here's some of the stuff we shot. This was on the tour bus from Vegas to LA.
Yeah.
And there's your.
Biscuit.
Oh, that scene, right? Yeah, that was. We were just getting ready for a scene, and this ended up being
That
the
was
scene.
so funny to me.
No. You haven't changed much, Donnie. And see, I'm getting sad that this is like the last video almost already. You know, you say, you know, all this happened in like a year.
Yeah, every 3 months we made a video.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Biscuit, the tour before this, Biscuit was with NWA. He was. We met Eazy-E and everyone with Biscuit backstage at a concert. And they were all like, Biscuit, Biscuit. We were like, hey! We all hung out together and yep, straight to the New Kids after that. That's our tour manager, Peter Work, from back then. I love that guy. I know a lot of us were very fond of him.
Bus too. We need to get those pictures on our bus again.
Do you guys remember the driver's feet stunk?
Oh,
Oh, man, it's so
He
funny.
lasted for like a week, right? 2 weeks. And then Dick Scott had to go and say, boy, you gotta clean your feet, boy.
Yeah, the feet. I think we would torture each other. We would if we would grab someone and put their head inside the bunk and close the curtain so they had to smell the feet while he'd be up driving. But Dick Scott eventually, he would come up to the front of the bus and say, oh, I gotta do something about this. And finally he came back and he put a brand new pair of sneakers and foot powder in the guy's bunk. And we were all, at least those who were around when it happened, were like, oh shit, is he gonna be upset? He's gonna be upset. And he was just so oblivious. He walked out from the back of his bunk and he goes, hey man, where's these shoes come from? And our manager goes like, well, they're for you. He goes, thanks. And he just walked away like, he didn't get the message at all, but his feet stopped smelling, so that worked out.
You drive the bus in this video, right? Don't you drive the bus?
I drove
No.
it a lot.
Oh, what was that? Remember, don't we have footage of you driving the bus? Because we had Ted, remember Ted?
Yeah, I
Ted
love
was,
Ted.
and he used to smoke a cigarette. That was the feet guy.
No,
No,
Ted
Ted
was
wasn't the
after
beat guy.
that beat guy. Ted was after, that was Brad, the funk bum. And then Ted,
Yeah. Ted was the
next.
best, and Ted would let you drive.
yeah. And then Don let me drive.
But the funny thing was, we'd all be in the back of the bus. And then the bus is rolling down the street. The bus driver would walk in and we're all like, what the fuck is going on? This guy.
Joey stole cars, Donnie stole buses. We were renegades. Anyway, all right, back to the video. Hang it up.
I mean, we still had so much energy. I think you could see how it elevates, and you know, just seeing it all chronologically. I mean, yeah. Wow, that was.
That's in the desert, right, in Vegas?
Well, remember this, the sign?
What'd you say, Doug?
That was the electric neon graveyard in Las Vegas, where
Yeah.
all those signs. Yeah.
Now it's a museum, right?
Yeah, but at that time it was just a raw place. I think we were one of the first people to ever shoot.
This is the OU bad place, right?
I had the
Yeah, you guys
fantasy.
came
Here's the
up-
O.
You came up with that on the spot. That you found those letters like O, U, and bad.
Oh yeah. Oh, you bet.
And Dan Danny, you were shooting with a Super 8 camera. You shot some of the footage we used in the. Oh,
Yeah, I remember that. That was fun.
Tortoise.
Wow. I need some of these pictures, Doug.
Take it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, make a book. Someone just said.
Make a book.
Well, I'm not, I shouldn't say this because I just said it backstage to Doug, but he didn't, he just kind of laughed like when you throw too many ideas. I'm like, but he's a documentarian, and we were talking about documentaries, and we were talking about, when we were talking about doing this panel, we were, talking about the old footage, and there's so much more that we didn't even get to outside of this stuff that Doug hopefully we'll be able to find, but I did ask him backstage if, he said, well, you should make a documentary one day. Well, so you're the documentary.
Bring out the contract. We want your name on the contract.
You guys should have a really cool, Apple Plus film or something.
You interested? Doug, are you interested?
I'll do it. This is where the crowds were really, that's it.
Yeah, it was changing. The interesting thing, well, I don't know if I should tell this story, but look at Jordan.
Tell it!
Yeah, you were just playing "I'll Be Loving You Forever," and I filmed that. And then when we got to the edit, we were able to match it. It was slightly, we had to retune it post, but to make it.
It's hard for us to not watch this too. Sorry, guys. Like, we're supposed to be talking, but it's just.
I mean, this is the VHS tape, and I know, you guys. You watched this until it disintegrated.
Yes.
Wow.
DVD?
Yeah, we have it on DVD now.
Do they still make those?
Woo!
Okay. All right, we got you. We got you.
I think when it came out, it was like the biggest selling video. Yeah, I think it didn't surpass Michael Jackson. I mean, it was like.
This was actually, yeah, sorry. It was, well, okay, so just to encapsulate the Hangin' Tough, there was Hangin' Tough, the music video. There was Hangin' Tough, this, right? The videos. And then there was Hangin' Tough Live, which were all shot together over a couple of days between Vegas and California. But if I remember correctly, and Danny knows the stats, they were the two biggest selling long-form videos in history. Hangin' Tough and Hangin' Tough Live, thanks to you guys.
There was a third one, right?
Well, I was gonna say, this video was the only thing of New Kids nominated for a Grammy back then. That we were nominated for Best Long-Form Video. And, well, I remember we were happy that we were nominated, but I think it may have been Janet Jackson. Somebody beat us. There's the OU bad. But we were backstage at the Grammys, and the president of the Academy was walking by, and I said, "Really, dude? Really?" Because we were presenting Best Rap Album for the first time on TV, which was an incredible honor. But he walked by and I said, "Really, man?" He was like, "What are you saying?" I was like, "All them songs, all them albums sold, all this and that. We only got nominated for the best long form video." And he said, "Well, you guys are just getting started. Don't worry about it. If you last 30 years, we'll see what happens." And I'm not saying what he really meant. But what he really meant was, you guys will be gone in a month, so don't worry about your Grammys. You're lucky we gave you anything. I really don't think it was a judgment of us, it was a judgment of all of us. They thought you guys would stop caring. They thought we wouldn't last and we didn't have time. It was a collective, and it's okay. This is about the love that we share. It's not about any of that, but it is kind of fun to watch that and remember that conversation and know that we're all still here together doing it and celebrating. The meaning of this stuff has so much more value eternally for all of us than any award could ever have given us anyway. This is just to do this now is so much more important than looking at a trophy that could be sitting on a mantelpiece or something like that. It's truly special. And that comes with growth, so thank God I was able to learn that lesson myself.
As a fan, as you said, I played that tape every day after school until it basically fell apart. But it was the first time that we got to see you off camera. You know, at that point there was no social media, there was nothing, there was a lot of gatekeeping at that point. And I remember watching this and feeling so connected to you in those minutes. And you know, as a fan, I look back very fondly on this tape. And when I was rewatching it for this panel, I can remember every single word. I can almost recite the dialogue watching the video out there. But you know, was that a conscious effort to introduce us to who these guys were off camera, or was that just sort of what happened through the course of filming?
Well, I just, I mean, the record company said we want something to go between the videos, right? So I just went out and, you know, started shooting documentary, like said in Vegas that we're on tour. Then we went to LA. Remember we shot that pillow fight? I don't know if that
Yeah.
Remember that? We destroyed a hotel room, like it was just feathers everywhere. And, yeah, we shot great stuff, which I'd love to be able to find that footage. Because we can only fit so much in the, I think it was a 30-minute long video.
We shot a scene with a girl. You guys would have hated her. But it was at a beach. Do you guys remember that? Do you remember that? There was like a storyline like of us with a girl at Venice Beach or something, wasn't there?
We were all walking, yeah, exactly.
Didn't make the cut.
I think it was just there was no room. You know, they said it had to be 30 minutes, and the videos were 18 minutes themselves, I think, when you add those up. So we only had 12 minutes.
I remember a great moment for me in that actual Hang It Tough video. We went to the LA River, and for the guys who really love hip hop in the group, so many iconic hip hop videos were shot in that little square at the LA River. It's like a long alley that takes you down, and that's where they shot. That was Thunder Road in Greece as well, down there where we shot. So we were in that little window shooting, and you know, it's always a little awkward when you start miming and you're out in a weird space miming and stuff, but we felt really great about being there. But I remember Joe I think you grabbed the bat, and we just started rocking out on one of the takes, and like this just energy just swept through us, like, and Joe, I think you really were the catalyst for it. Just this great energy, and like it was another one of those moments. We're doing the video, we're loving it, we're like, oh my God, we're in this cool spot where like everyone shoots these cool videos, and like this moment of ownership just came where it became like, okay, this is our spot now. This is where we're gonna make our stamp on this iconic location. It was like, I really felt it was energized when you took that bat and started playing the guitar and shit. It just really was so inspiring, and I think it swept through all of us. And I just remember feeling a real camaraderie in that moment that was so magical.
You broke the bat. I remember one time you hit it so hard it shattered, and then it was over.
I was huge.
No more bat.
Twice a day in the gym back then.
So I'm curious, the actual live concert that you filmed in LA, how many people in the audience were actually at that concert? I met a few people who were at that concert. Where were all the parents? There were all these children in the audience and not a single parent to be seen.
They were all teenagers though, but they weren't a lot of. I mean, we started to have a ton of like 5-year-olds, right? But I mean, back then our fans were still like kind of our age, so that might have been it too. Right?
If I remember correctly, that was also a matinee. The live concert was like shot at 1 in the afternoon, so it was like a matinee performance. It wasn't like midnight.
No, but I remember, Joe, we used to have a parents' room backstage. Like, for people where your parents could go and hang out while you guys watched us on stage. It was, yeah, it's funny, a parents' room.
Well, it's funny to watch it now. I mean, you wore the iconic orange shirt last night for us from the video. Joe, your hat with the hole in the top, and your homeboy sweatshirt. I mean, all of these things are so iconic to us. Were you making these choices? I mean, to how you were visually going to be presenting yourself, or they just choices that you made on the fly? I'm just curious now.
I mean, I think most of the things I wore, they were presented to us. Like they bring all these clothes in and you say, oh, I like that or I hate that. The Knights baseball shirt, I think it came from like some thrift store. And I actually still have that in my closet. I wish it fit me, but it don't.
We didn't have, I mean, what comes to mind is during that, you know what I mean? We were still, again, this all happened in 1 year. 1 year. And when you're that age, I mean, a year can feel like 10 years. So at the time, it wasn't like this is so fast. But, we didn't have a lot of money back then. And, so Donnie had that jean outfit. The jean jacket and jeans matching. And he wore that for about 6 months, and then he turned it inside out for another 6 months. So a lot of this, yes, I mean, for the video, we would have, a cool, leather jacket or something like that, but all that behind the scenes, I mean, I was rocking a fanny pack in Vegas with some t-shirt on. I'm like, what? We just grabbed anything. So our look was like a mixture of like, just super regular, but when I look at it, it's like that is an interesting choice though. This orange shirt. I mean, but everybody had their own style. When I look back at it, even though they gave us stuff, John always had like his style. He was always had a very distinct like shirt on. It was always something like that had a real pop to it.
It's funny, everybody thought I was like Mr. Batman. Because I had like a different Batman shirt on every day. And, it was really because I wore that a Batman shirt and I'll Be Loving You Forever. And since that video, all of you started sending me Batman shirts. So I was just like, fuck it, I got all these Batman shirts. I don't have to shop. Just throw a new one on every day. And I was just Mr. Batman, so that's how that came about. Yeah, that was
So
Mr. Batman.
after Hangin' Tough, you all had one more video that you worked on together, which is Danny Wood's absolute favorite, right? This one's for the children. Can we watch a clip of that? For you, Danny.
Thanks.